What is up everyone and welcome to a new VR tutorial. So we recently covered the newest feature of the Oculus integration on this channel, like hand pose detection or the interaction SDK, but there is one we haven't yet talked about, the Meta Avatar, which allow you to quickly create social presence inside your VR game. So in this video we will learn how to configure them in Unity and display the player's own avatar. So if you are enjoying this tutorial, make sure to leave a like and subscribe below, and as always the source code will be available on my Patreon where you can find more advanced subject. But without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so here I am inside Unity. As you can see, I'm using Unity version 2020.3 with standard pipeline. Now as always, to save me some time, I've already did the VR Oculus setup for this project, which is download the Oculus integration, go here in the project settings and do the XR management for both Oculus on Android and desktop. By the way, something that I can already say about the Meta Avatar is that they can work even if you are not using a VR headset. Okay, now that we got that out of the way, let's do the setup for the Meta Avatar. So first thing first, we need to download the Meta Avatar SDK. We can do so by going to this web page that you will find in the description below. And as you can see, the version that I'm about to use is 13 here. And as a reminder, if some part of the tutorial are different for future version, I will post a solution in the comment section, so stay tuned. Now we can click here on download, agree, perfect, and now that it is downloaded, we can unzip it and then drag the Unity package in the project windows of the Unity editor. So here is all of the things that are contained in this package. We can click on import. There you go. Now everything is set up. If you have a message popping up like this one, you can say yes. Okay, that is basically all we need to do to configure our project. Now let's see how we can add an avatar in the scene. So back in our scene, the first thing we are going to need is the avatar manager. We can search for avatar SDK manager. As you can see, we have a bunch of different managers that we can choose from. Now they are all the same except for their shader manager that is different, and this is what will affect the shader used by our avatar. So if you are looking for a more optimized avatar, you can use, for example, one of the mobile manager here, or if you are looking for more realistic lighting, use the Unity standard. But in my case, I will simply use the avatar SDK manager horizon. We can drag it in the hierarchy. Now, as you can see, the manager is composed of 4 components: the avatar manager script, the load manager, which will be able to generate a low resolution of the avatar when we get away from it. This is for better optimization, of course. The skinning configuration for skinning the avatar when we are loading. And finally, the sample input manager, which will allow you to animate the avatar based on the input of the player. But more on that later. Now for the avatar itself, let's right click, create an empty game object, call it avatar entity 1. We can make sure its position is at 0, 0, 0. And I'm going to add a component called avatar entity. As you can see, we have 2 components that we can use. Actually, the sample avatar is an extension of the OVR avatar entity, so as it allows more things, let's use it instead. Okay, now about the setting of this avatar, I'm going to go here under the sample avatar entity and just uncheck the load user from CDN, and you will understand why in a minute. Okay, so now that's already it. Let's click on play to test this. And ta-da! As you can see, by clicking on play, an avatar now appears, but it has no head. So why is that? So this is one of the first parameters that we can look at. If we go to active view, we can select the view to third or first person. So if you are using the avatar for yourself, it's better of course to use it as first person. Otherwise, we can use the third person to view the full upper body. So just to test it, let's leave play mode, duplicate our avatar and move it to the side. We can call it entity 2, and for this one, set the view mode to none, then third person. Perfect. Let's click on play. And there you go. As you can see, it works. We can see the head of the avatar on the right. And what I find even more incredible is that the head here is animated. It makes the model more alive. And by the way, if you want to get rid of the animation, you can go in the creation info of the avatar entity and play with the feature of the avatar, like the face animation here. And I will leave in the description the link to what each one of these features does. And it will do a better job at explaining it to you than to detail it here on this video. So right now the avatar is generated using a zip file that we can find here in the streaming asset by going to Oculus Avatar 2 asset. So for example, if we duplicate the entity again and call it entity 3, we can change here the pre-configured avatar in the zip path by giving a number we want between 0 and 32. So if I do 8 and press on play, tada, we now have a totally different avatar. How cool is that? But what if I didn't want it a pre-configured avatar, but instead use the avatar that the player has made? So let's see how we can do this. So to display the player's own avatar, we are going to set up the App ID platform. We can find it here by going to Oculus, Platform, Edit Settings. And now to create an app ID, we can click on Create Find Your App. So it will direct you to the Oculus dashboard, and after logging, you should be able to create a new app by clicking here on Create New App. We can select the quest. I'm going to call it Meta Avatar Tutorial Quest. Perfect. Now that it is created, we need to say that we will use Meta Avatar for this project. So let's go to Data Used Checkup. Click here on Manager for User ID. Set the usage to Avatar. For the description, we can use Testing Avatar. Click on the little checkbox here and then update usage. There you go. Now we can do exactly the same, but this time for the user profile and the avatar below. Okay, finally we can click on submit. We can give a random website. So mine is https://valemvr.com. Click the checkbox, then submit. And after this, you should be able to see the 3 features already approved. Perfect. Now what's left for us to do is to go to the API, there copy the app ID, go back to Unity and paste it over there in the platform settings. Okay, and so now everything is ready. We could already test this and build it to the quest, and it will work, of course, but as we are testing it here in the Unity Inspector, which is on PC, we need to create an app ID for PC as well. So let's go back to the dashboard and this time do the same thing but for the Rift, and the rest is exactly the same, of course. Okay, now I have an app ID for everything. At this point, if you haven't already, you can create a meta avatar for yourself in the quest profile. I have mine that looks like this here, and to make it shown in our game, let's simply duplicate another time the entity, rename it entity 4, and this time check the load user from CDN in the avatar entity. And now if we click on play, ta-da! It works! I can see my own avatar. That is so cool. Okay, so now we learn about how to configure the meta avatar, but how can we make it follow the player's movement? As always, let's duplicate the avatar once again, call it entity 5, and as we want this entity to be used for ourselves, we can set it to first person in the entity component. Now, as you can see, there are settings here for tracking input, so we can drag the avatar SDK manager in the body tracking. It will use the sample input manager to animate this body. So now we can add the OVR camera rig to test our game in VR. Up to now, I didn't use it in the scene to show you that the avatar could also work without a VR player. So we can search for it in the project and then drag it in the scene. Now we need to have the camera rig at the same place as the entity. So for this, we can drag the entity as a child of the camera rig and reset its position and rotation to 0, 0, 0. Perfect. Now let's click on play to try this. There you go. As you can see, the whole avatar uses IK to animate the arm of the player. We can also animate the hand by pressing on the button. But most importantly, something I'm super happy to have here is that it even works with hand tracking. That's right, if you get rid of the controllers, you can now make the avatar works and follow exactly each one of your finger. That is so cool. Now here you go. This is about how to set up and use meta avatar for your own game. Now there are some additional features that can be used with this avatar, like the gaze target that make your avatar look at a particular position, or the custom end animation to create custom end animation. And if you're interested in learning how to do these, I recommend you to go to the example scene that you will be able to find in the project, and where you will find a direct example for each one. And of course, there is the topic of how to use this meta avatar for a multiplayer game. And so I've already made a tutorial series about how to make a VR multiplayer game on my YouTube channel, but an updated version using the meta avatar could be a great subject for a future episode, so let me know what you think in the comment section below. Now, thank you for watching till the end. I hope that you enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to subscribe to not miss the next video, and to go to my Patreon to support the channel and get access to the source code. Now, thank you for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.